Hi, welcome to the Enterprising Converzations channel, your small business watchtower. My name is Rendani, I'm your channel host. Today I'm going to talk a little about the book that I've authored. The name of the book is The Balance Sheet Converzations, Unveiling the Art of the Balance Sheet. It is a conversational guide to financial clarity for educators, learners, and entrepreneurs. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Enterprising Conversation channel. Just to get started, why? What inspired me to write this book, to put pen to paper on the balance sheet? The main reason why I wrote the balance sheet dialogues is because of my high school experience. When I started my standard 6, commercial subjects were introduced, and when these commercial subjects were introduced, I was the first. I and my fellow schoolmates were the first to enroll for commercial subjects, including accounting. Now, immediately, we realized that accounting was quite challenging. It was quite challenging to learn accounting, especially the balance sheet part of things. It was even more difficult at the time because, as you would know, in South Africa, pre-1994, there was not so many black people who were owning businesses. So it was a new territory altogether. And just to share with you my experience around the learning and teaching of the balance sheet, the methodology was basically the teacher throwing the textbook at you, showing you the balance sheet format, pre-cooked in a sense, and we had to memorize that. So that was new. That the methodology was not new. That's how most of the subjects. That's how the curriculum worked pre-1994. So we memorized the balance sheet and accounting in general, and of course other commercial subjects, and we passed very well. We were the commercial subject class was like the best performing class at the school. Even during matric, when we did our matric, we were simply the best students to come out of that class. I went on to tertiary to do and studied accounting 101. I continued to, it was even worse. You know, the lecturers usually don't have much time. They come and make a PowerPoint presentation, and good luck. If you manage to understand, good for you. If you didn't, you have to find a way of making sure that you understand and pass. So I graduated and joined the world of work. I landed into the enterprise development and training field. And that's when I came into contact with practitioners, those who are not only talking about the balance sheet or record keeping. These are people who are working practically with entrepreneurs. Just like your bricklayer. A bricklayer doesn't get trained and then they memorize and they just talk about bricklaying. They are trained, they might attend some class and do theory, but at the end of the day, they go and practice. And such that the advantage of that is that the skill becomes part of you. For example, a bricklayer doesn't put a textbook next to the construction site and go and refer as they build, as they lay their bricks or do their brick laying project. The skill is in them, it's part of them, that's what they do. So that was the difference between the practitioners and my high school and accounting 101 teacher. They knew what they were talking about. They were talking about something that was part of them. The textbook no longer loomed large in the classroom. It was supporting the learning process. So they would start off the balance sheet by build up the balance sheet through a discussion with you, and there will be no format, there will be nothing. They will talk to you, and then before you know it, you can see the balance sheet, and it's a balance sheet that you did not find in the textbook. It's a balance sheet that you also participated in creating that balance sheet. So such that the first balance sheet that you look at during the training was the one that you have also created yourself. So wow, that was marvelous. And I already, as I continue to work in the enterprise training and development arena, I always had this debt that to say I must go back to my classmates that I started, because some of them are chief financial officers in departments, some of them are financial managers in senior management in the field of finance. So I always had this thing that no, I must go back to my classmates and show them how simple these things that appear to be very difficult. Because for the past 25 years, I have been training entrepreneurs, some of whom are semi-literate, some of whom cannot even speak in English, are not literate at all, but they would understand what a balance sheet, they will internalize the principles of the balance sheet. So that was very helpful, and I thought to myself at some point, I said, I can contribute towards the learning and teaching of the balance sheet by writing a book such as this one that can help inspire educators, that can help inspire learners and entrepreneurs to understand the balance sheet. I've just come out of an interview with a guest here at the Enterprising Conversation channel who's a tax practitioner, was saying she sometimes come across entrepreneurs who are in dire straits because they simply didn't know what their accounting professional was doing when they were filing their tax returns and so forth, and they found themselves in big trouble. So that's what we've also been doing, helping entrepreneurs understand what their bookkeeper, their auditors were doing, because you can't supervise or manage somebody who's talking about the things that you don't know. So this is my contribution. And one other thing that truly got me going was when at some point I was training in Umhlanga Rocks at one of the top hotels there. At the time, the basic education department was introducing a new curriculum, entrepreneurship curriculum, which is more like practitioner inclined, orientated, and suddenly these educators had to be able to teach this new curriculum that was very practically inclined, not theoretically inclined at all. So if you are a South African and you live in one of these provinces like your Free State, like your Gauteng, or if you have been a program manager, or if you have worked around the country, you would know that KZN is one of those provinces that are challenging when you are going in to work from outside. That's my experience. I've worked for 2 different companies, and that's been experience. For the first time, I'm from Limpopo. My surname is Rendani Nemavhidi. And the next thing, those educators look at you and say, who is this guy? And where is he coming from? And what is he doing here? They don't need to say it to you. The body language that tells you, it just tells you that you are like an alien. So it didn't bother me because I experienced, I knew that my weapon was what I was going to present. And I can tell you that within the first 2 hours of that financial management class, entrepreneurship class focusing on financial management, those teachers, suddenly the body language just changed all of a sudden, and they was like throwing their hands on the table and saying, no, 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 man. You know what? As far as we are concerned, it's 11 o'clock. The training is supposed to end at 4 o'clock. As far as we are concerned, the training can just come to an end because we have never seen anyone present the balance sheet and financial management with such clarity and simplicity as we have done. And then I realized that this, and it was not exactly the first time, because we train educators, we train school children who are entrepreneurs or for one reason or the other happen to come to the class. And the feedback is the same, that this is so practical, this is so simple. The things that you're talking about I used to struggle with, but all of a sudden my eyes are open. That's what inspired the writing of the book, and that's what you get when you read this book, whether you're an entrepreneur or whatever. So what is the structure of the book, if I can summarize? This is the balance sheet in 8 conversations. I don't have chapters, I've got conversations. First conversation is like your financial terminology, just to ease you into the world of finance. And the next one is money flow, how money flows in your business. You can call it even cash flow if you like. And the next topic is assets and liabilities. The next thing is working capital, and these are the building blocks towards the main topic on the balance sheet. And of course, the 5th conversation is on the balance sheet itself. And thereafter, you get a conversation on the highlight around the relationship between the balance sheet and other financial statements, key financial statements like your profit and loss statement and your cash flow statement. And then the 7th conversation, you get your overview on ratio analysis. And lastly, the last conversation is the parting shot that ties everything together and concludes on the book. It's a very exciting book. The first 2 people that I gave to, one was my former employee and business partner who came from the USA, who's a doctor, Dr. David Berger. He read the book on the other side of the world. And one was my mentor locally who helped me, who mentored me, who helped me enter into the world of enterprise development and training. And surprisingly, their comments, 2 people from opposite ends of the world, and they said they commended the book for being informative and its simplicity, so accessible. For example, Dr. David Berger is not a financial person, he's a historian. But he told me that what is contained in the book was so accessible to him. So that's what you can expect to get when you buy the Balance Sheet Dialogues. And I'm excited to announce that the Balance Sheet Dialogues for South African readers is going to be available, and I'll share the information around its availability on my social media handle. It will be coming out soon. But for international readers, the international market, it is going to be on Amazon or Amazon publishers very soon. So watch this space and go and grab yourself a copy, because it will change the way you see the balance sheet and financial management in general. Just as my involvement in enterprise and development space transformed my view of what financial management and the balance sheet is all about. Thank you. This is the Enterprising Conversations, your small business watchtower. Cheers.